Welcome back to another episode of Conquering Netflix. I am your host with the most, Richard Dix, and this is the podcast where I try to watch everything Netflix has to offer. I try to conquer the entire catalog. I want to run it from A to Z, back to front, whatever we can do. This is another pod from the HDTH family, the How Did That Happen family. I don't know if I've mentioned it before. I think I mentioned in the last episode. I have other podcasts, and they're kind of the main big boy podcast of what kind of takes up my attention, but I had this idea for a while of just what if I just started watching stuff on Netflix and just telling people about it and seeing what they think and letting people, because I feel like without it, I'm already doing it. The same way with my other podcast. My other podcast is history based. It has a lot to do with research, a lot of looking stuff up. That's what I do. In my spare time. And this is also something that I do in my spare time. I just watch TV. I watch a lot of Netflix. And so I thought, let me just bring out what it is that I'm seeing from night to night. So we have another batch of 3 Netflix offerings for you guys today. And I hope you liked the last episode, which was the first episode in the history of this entire podcast, Conquering Netflix. And then, I thought it was good. It was definitely, you can see already, where there's room for growth. So we're just going to keep on trying to just keep making this something better every time. Got a little bit of housekeeping to get to before we start the pod. Like I mentioned before, if you didn't know, I host 2 other podcasts. One is called How Did That Happen? And the other is a mini-sode that goes with it called Bite-Sized Bios. How Did That Happen? Every 2 weeks we profile, I'm mixing it up. With How Did That Happen? Every 2 weeks we basically pick a topic, event, phenomena, date in history, something, and try to figure out how it happened. How did it come to be? Why does it matter? Why do we know that it exists? Just how did that happen? I mean, our last episode was on the Amish. It was on Amish people. And the question is just, how did they happen? How did we get Amish people? And the answer is surprising. The answer is so worth your time. So you can find that wherever you listen to podcasts. And then also there's a mini-sode that comes out with that one that follows it every 2 weeks. Is kind of week to week, every other week, basically. You get a different piece of content, and it is bite-sized bios. And on that we profile people in history and kind of just give you, like it says, kind of a bite-sized piece of their life and lets you know a little bit about them without going into those like 45-minute, 2-hour-long documentaries. Like if you needed the Reader's Digest version of who John Cena is, I can give you that. Or who Ellen DeGeneres, or Benjamin Franklin, Alexander the Great, Michelle Obama, Jackie O. These are all people that we've already done. They come out every other week. Definitely check it out. And I would say 7 days a week. You can always find more information over at htthappen.com. There's always stuff. And when there is no website for ConkNet, which is kind of what I'm calling it in my head when I think about it, ConkNet instead of Conquering Netflix, it's just a lot more concise. There's no website for it as of yet, but there will be a webpage at some point. And when there is, it'll be over at htthappen.com. It'll be something like conknet.htthappen, something like that, give or take. But the three topics, the 3, I don't know what to call them. I'll call them offerings, the 3 shows, the 3 pieces. I'm not sure. The 3 pieces of art that we intend to talk about today are Snack vs. Chef, which you will love. I think you will love. Tattoo Redo, which is a great idea and is worth watching. Just from the idea alone. And what my personal favorite of the 3 here is Do Revenge. So we got, Snack v Chef, Tattoo Redo, and Do Revenge. They are all something that I think is worth checking out on Netflix. We're going to go ahead and get to the first one right now.
12 incredible chefs are about to compete in the ultimate showdown by facing off against some of the most iconic snacks ever created. First, they'll have to crack the code and reconstruct one of these beloved classics, and then create their own new snack inspired by that beloved classic.
All right, so our first offering today is like Snack vs. Chef. And I have to say before I, get into it, I'm not big into cooking shows. I love food. I like cooking, but I don't like cooking shows. I don't know what it is. I think they're just kind of pretentious, and in my opinion, just a little bit. There's some good ones. I'm not just like against them in like a blanket capacity. I'm not like nothing is all bad. But most cooking shows don't appeal to me. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. And it is a show. It's, I don't know how to put it. They make snacks. The chefs, they bring these great high-powered chefs in here. And food scientists, which is also a really cool part. I think a really necessary part looking back at it. And they make snacks. They make Kit Kats. They make Oreos. They make Pringles, Gushers. What else do they make? I think they tried to make it. Did they try to make it Twinkie? No, I'm not sure. Did I say Pringles? They make a bunch of stuff. And so the idea is, first off, to try to recreate the snack, just as it is. Do your best, which is not easy, and that's fun to watch. You ever seen anybody try to make a Kit Kat before? I mean, I had never. The first time they made Cheetos. First time they made Cheetos, it was a little bit of my brain blew up. I was just like, I never even thought about how these are even made, bro. It never even crossed my mind. But so they do that, and then the next step, like it's kind of they're graded on that, and then there's basically like 2 rounds of the same competition, and then the next one they have to make another version of that snack with the same kind of snack characteristics. Like for example, when they made the Cheetos, they had to make some sort of like handheld snack. I think it was like some sort of handheld cracker chip type snack, and it had to also have like the residue that would come off your hands, like when you eat Cheetos, which is a cool kind of thing to have to like figure out. You know what I mean? Like so they had so many different ways of doing it. It's very interesting. I say that, you know, because I don't like cooking shows. So if I'm somebody who doesn't like cooking shows and I like this, I don't know if that means you're going to like it or that means you're not going to like it, because something about it is different. But all the chefs, there's like, I don't know, 10, 12, some chefs, and they're competing to win 50 grand. And so they just, after every, I forget now, it's been a minute since I watched it, it's been a couple days since I watched it. I think after they were all done, they picked like 4 or 5. They picked 4. Was it 3? And then they had a 4th wild card. I'm not 100% sure, but then those people really get to then it becomes a way every dish you get eliminated after that. Because before that, they're all just kind of making stuff, seeing what happens. But definitely check it out. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and rate it. Watchability, I'm gonna give it 2, and that's because I think it's, like I said, it is interesting. It's fun. They do it up really nice. Like the set is like set in like a convenience store kind of thing, with like snacks on the shelves and everything. They're just not in some like kitchen, which is, you know, it definitely takes it up a notch. For the fun factor, I'm gonna also, you know what, I have 2 here. I think I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3 because they're dealing with snacks and they're so fun. Like that's what kept my attention, was because they're not just making like, I don't know, filet mignon or some crazy something with a sous vide or something I've never heard of. You know what I mean? They're making Pringles and Cheetos. Like I wanna see what's up with that. That's cool. And so is it worth a rec? I would say also 3. And that's because I've already recommended it to people. I don't know if anybody's watched it, I'll be honest with you, but I recommended it to multiple people. So the number for the amount of sheep bleats that the Snack V Chef gets is 8. And we'll move on to the next title.
Behind every tragic tattoo, there's always a ridiculous story.
So Blake lost a bet.
Have you asked for forgiveness for this tat, bro?
Lucky for them, 5 of the most talented tattoo artists are standing by to give them a tattoo redo.
All right, so our next Netflix offering is Tattoo Redo. First off, on alliteration alone, loving it. It's pretty dope. And what that is exactly what it sounds like. There's people who, you know, it's a straightforward reality show that focuses on redoing people's bad tattoos. The fun for me is seeing the bad tattoos that people come in with, because it's you. Like this one dude is like, I'm not even gonna get into it. It's just like, people get bad tattoos. They really do. And a lot of cover-ups. I've seen cover-ups. Some cover-ups are good. Some cover-ups are not so good. These guys, and what they get is they get world-class artists. That's the cool part. Is the people that are doing these redos are world-class tattoo artists. So it really all comes out looking really good. Like it'd be like one of the best tattoos you could ever get, like probably a forward in life, is what's covering up your old one. But the twist where it becomes an actual show and not just some TLC, I feel like something is, I mean, a little bit is that what the people, when they come in, they bring a friend with them, and the friend gets to choose the tattoo that is used for the cover-up. So while you're getting an awesome cover-up, you know, you're getting your tattoo cover-up, you're getting something brand new, it's gonna be done by like one of the best dudes on the planet, your friend gets to pick it though. Like straight up gets to pick it. You don't even get to see it. You don't get to give them any sort of like hints. All you have to hope is that the person you bring knows you well enough that they can pick something to go on. And they're picking big pieces. They're picking big pieces, man. I don't even know if it's a part of the cover-up game, because like, but it'll be a small tattoo, but they have to cover it up with like some huge, like, I don't know, but like, so it's a lot for just to be like, you know, to just let one of your friends just kind of have control over like 8 to 10 inches of your body. But they do a really good job. And you know, if redemption is what you're into, then you definitely give it a watch. What I would say, watchability, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a rate. Watchability, I'm gonna give it a 1. And I would say I would mainly give it a 1 because honestly, I watched this show on silent while I was listening to a podcast. I really did because I was interested in the tattoos, but I don't feel like the host and the subject matter is interesting enough for me to actually listen to it. If I'm being completely honest, I just like to keep it real. I was listening to a podcast, but watching this happen because I wanted to see what was going on, and it is interesting, but it's not so watchable. The fun factor, I'm gonna give it a 3. And that's because, like I said, your friend gets to pick. Your friend gets to pick your tattoo for the rest of your life, or at least you get it covered up again with some other massive piece. That's pretty fun. That's like I said, and more further identifying the criteria and what fits within the fun factor like we talked about in the last episode. Doesn't have to be funny. Like the pieces they're picking are not funny. They're good. They're good pieces. But what makes it fun is the idea that your friend or your girlfriend, I'm not even sure their relationship. Like I said, I watched it on silent. I must be I really did. But I enjoyed the concept, and that's what I said earlier. It could be a better show, and I think that's why it only has like 1 season. I think it has like 6 episodes of 1 season, but they're worth it. I think they're worth checking out if you're into that sort of thing. So like I said, I'm giving that a 3. Is it worth a rec? I would say I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say 2 because honestly, I feel like everybody has tattoos these days. Before I was going to say if you can relate to it, but I feel like most people can relate to it. I don't have any tattoos. I'm one of the minorities in like all the people that I know. Like I really, I just never ended up getting one. I don't know. But so people, if you know people that have tattoos, they might find this interesting. I'm not sure. We're going to go ahead and go to the next title.
I spent 17 years meticulously curating the perfect life. I had the perfect friends, the perfect boyfriend.
Maybe you could send me something to keep me company.
But you know where all of that got me? Absolutely destroyed. Max ruined my life. He'll never get away with this.
Hey, do you want to ride?
Carissa Jones, she started a nasty rumor about me. She told everyone that I tried to hold her down and kiss her. Turned me into this predator. She destroyed me. I wish we could hire people to take them down.
We should team up and do each other's revenge.
Don't you want to make her pay? I don't want to make her pay. I want to burn her to the ground.
Whoa.
All right, so our last title for today, for this episode of Conquering Netflix, is Do Revenge. Do Revenge, which is, I must say, probably one of the best movies that I've seen in the last couple months. Yeah, at least. Which, I mean, I don't know if that's saying much. I'm not saying the best movie ever, but I mean, because these days when we're so saturated with media, we're so saturated with movies. Everything's a show. Everything's a miniseries. Every documentary is like 7 episodes. Like you know what I mean? I feel like when I was a kid, documentaries were like an hour and a half. Now they're like, no, episode 3, check that out. It's like, how much do you really have to tell? And sometimes you find out that they really don't have that much to tell. So you end up watching some stuff that's just not that interesting. So this actually ended up being interesting. So I say this is a good movie. I don't say that lightly. A lot of movies like this kind of fizzle out at some point during the film, but this movie kind of held up all the way to the end. It's about a group of high school students at a very exclusive, like super exclusive school called Rose Hill. I'm not sure if it's called Rose Hill Academy or something like that, but I think it's definitely called Rose Hill. And it's in the vein of like the Clueless and other movies like the Heathers and stuff like that. And but they take it to an obnoxious level that's hilarious. That's really what it's so funny. Like they wear uniforms, but there's no rhyme or reason to their uniforms. They kind of all wear these like schoolgirl and like schoolboy like outfits, but like they get all different types of ties. One of them had like a bolo tie. They're different colors. Like there's no but it just fits the aesthetic. You know what I mean? But the movie is, I would say, it is funny from the start, and it actually has some substance to it. The movie, it's definitely channeling, like I said, it's Clueless and other movies like that kind of vibe. The story is about revenge, as is in the title. Basically, 2 girls from different social circles realize that they both have been wronged by a classmate and want revenge, right? So they decide to get revenge on the other girl's target so that no one will know that it's them. Pretty good story. It gets wilder from there. The story just unfolds, and it's just so worth it. It stars the Camila Mendez, who I've always loved from Riverdale. I mean, she's just a fox. She's beautiful, and she's also really, really talented actress as well. And so, there's some other people that I'd never really seen before, but she's the only person that I knew because I've, like I said, watched a lot of Riverdale. But definitely check it out. It's funny. The whole idea of the title comes from kind of when they decide that they want to get revenge. They don't say they're going to get revenge. They say we're going to do revenge, which is kind of like the whole thing. It is actually kind of funny. So yeah, to go ahead and rate it, we're going to give it a rate on the Mutton Flock. Watchability, I would say I'm going to give it a 3. It's definitely because I watched it from start to finish, and I really wasn't. I was engaged. Like I said, I'm not giving you what the rest of it. I know there's more to it. I just don't want to. I'm not going to give spoiler alerts. I want you to check this stuff out if you actually think that you might like it. So I'm not going to tell you how it ends. But there's definitely more of it. There's more. There's more to it, which gives it definitely a watchability. And I would even get to the fun factor where I think I'm still going to give it a 3. And I think it's because it's funny. First off, so this is it's a funny and or fun factor. It could be either one. And the movie is funny, but the fun factor of it is when the twists and turns start to come towards the end that you really you don't see coming. You don't see coming. I didn't see it coming. But yeah, definitely check it out. It was directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson. I've never heard the name Caton before. But that's so. Yeah, and then is it worth a rec? I told somebody about it today, so I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna give it. I guess we're gonna go ahead and have a perfect score. We're gonna give it 3. And so that is, I don't know if that's the first perfect score on the Mutton Flock system, but I think it's gonna be 9. We're gonna go 9 sheep bleats, man. It was a good movie. Like I said, I was taken aback. You don't get many like that. It doesn't happen very often. All right, that was another episode of Conquering Netflix. We conquered another 3 offerings. As always, give us a like and subscribe wherever you listen to this. It always helps the pod grow. If you want to give us 5 stars, that's great. If you don't want to give us 5 stars, if you want to give us 2 stars and tell us why you didn't want to give us 5 stars, that's awesome too. Also, if there's something that you want covered on this podcast or even the other podcast, just head over to Twitter at HTTHappen and let us know. I may or may not be making a Twitter handle for this specific podcast in the future. I'm not sure, but it's definitely, like I said, because it's under the umbrella of the How Did That Happen family. I'm not sure if it's even necessary. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and see you for the next episode of Conquering Netflix.